have Onur Gulenk from Zero Density, Business Development Manager. New Web Labs is one of the handful of Zero Density's production partners around the world. And this whole conference and virtual studios has been put together thanks to Zero Density's reality engine, allowing for real-time visual effects, pipeline, including the keying, the compositing, and the rendering, all in one single machine. That said, thank you, Onur. Appreciate you joining us today, and looking forward to hear what you have to say.
Thank you, Frederick. Thank you for having me. A great organization and wonderful speakers. So I have been enjoying my time, and yeah, it's just a pleasure to be here. So without further ado, I would like to share my screen, but I want to utilize. So can you kindly confirm that you are able to see a full screen presentation, Frederick?
Yes, everything is great. Thank you so much.
Cool, perfect. So many thanks for the introduction again. This is Onur. I'm responsible for business development and sales of East Coast USA and Canada at Zero Density. I am based in United States, Atlanta, Georgia. And Zero Density is a software company. So we are a research and development centric technology company. And what we do in one line, I suppose, is adding keying and compositing and some control technology on top of Unreal Engine Vanilla to make it usable in a broadcast studio, in a production studio, and also to be able to achieve the photorealistic post-production level photorealistic composited image in real time. So we can define reality software as a market-leading real-time compositing system. So market-leading it's like a cliche, I know, but it is a rightful statement in case of reality software. Because when the product was launched in early 2016, it provided many firsts to the broadcasting industry. Just to name a few, it actually became the first software platform ever that utilized any kind of gaming technology such as Unreal Engine 4 in broadcasting industry, and the first real-time node-based compositor. So we had node-based compositors in post-production world such as Foundry's Nuke and Flame, but first real-time node-based compositor, first compositing in 3D space technique, the first real-time image-based keyer. Again, we had and still have image-based keyers in post-production world, but the first real-time image-based keyer, and the first 4K HDR keyer in real time. So really many firsts there in the broadcasting industry. And we can go ahead and say that there are three main usage areas of the technology. One is green studio applications. The second one is LED wall applications with extended reality and set extensions with LED walls. And the third one is just augmented graphics on top of the practical shot. So I need to raise a flag and say that my presentation is mostly green studio oriented, because Zero Density is known for its high performance keyer. And I think there's a bias in our references. So due to that, let me say, reputation, most of the references and client videos are coming from green screen space. So the presentation is mostly green studio oriented. And currently we have installations at 38 countries. The headquarters is based in Izmir, Turkey, on the west coast of Turkey, very close to Greek islands. And we have a Los Angeles office and an Atlanta office. And we have installations, of course, in Canada. Actually, our first TV client is from Canada, TFO. They are a client for more than 5 years now. And in USA, Mexico, Brazil, basically anywhere around the world, including Nigeria, Kenya. So I think being battle tested and being a proven technology in this area it is an important thing, because when the end users are considering next generation technology in general, there are some certain risks, and the worst nightmare, usually the biggest fear, is the talents will become naked in a green studio, and things will shut down or something. So Zero Density is known for its reliability and stability. So we have been on air for more than 350,000 hours of content. This is an estimate. And among that amount, there are any kind of productions that you can literally imagine, from news shows to sports shows, elections from all around the world, reality TV shows, virtual concerts, commercials, kids content like TFOs. And the background is, it is just comparing, it's an interesting example because it's from an esports tournament from 2019, ESL. And the interesting thing about this content in the background is the presenters are inside of the game that they are commentating on. This is a Counter-Strike tournament, and they're inside of the Counter-Strike game that the players are actually playing in that tournament. And as you can imagine, this is creating engagement with the viewers at a different level. So very important end users around the world, including BBC, Fox Sports, TFO, Walt Disney's Star India, NHK, CCTV, The Weather Channel, TF1, France Television, Canal Plus. So I can say that it has been the dominant choice in this area to move forward with Reality Virtual Studio in the broadcasting industry. So I would like to answer this very simple question. So why virtual production? Why real-time VFX in general? And I will try to do this by showing some references from clients. So again, as I mentioned, Zero Density is providing technology, but I will try to keep it as high level as possible without drowning into details, but showing the capacity and what can be achieved or what has already been achieved by our partners and our clients around the world. So firstly, it gives you the ability to enhance a limited space into an unlimited world. So you can literally create an entire world as your virtual design, and you can composite your talent inside of your small, limited size green studio with that boundless virtual environment. So this is an example from Japan. And in any video that I am going to show you, there is no post-processing at all. This is all captured in real time. So, and in this example, they are shooting a scene, a dancer in the middle of Tokyo, which could be very hard to do if you try to do this in practical world. And again, as I mentioned, there is no post-processing involved. This could be live television, just broadcasted, directly going on air. And it was a more cinematic experience. And this is a more broadcasting industry, let me say, reference. So this is from 2018 Eurosport Winter Olympics. And in this example, they didn't have a large space, let me say. And you can see the ceiling height of the room. It is 3 meters or 10 feet. So it is a very limited space, as you can see, but they're able to turn this office room with 10 feet or 3 meter ceiling height into a $1 million looking sports show. So this is a very clean and professional looking program, which is able to produce in a very small space, let me say. And of course, it gives you the ability of visual storytelling. So you're able to achieve things in real time, which are completely impossible or too expensive to do in real world, such as a Formula One car entering the studio during live production. or it could also be an historical character, such as Frederick's example of Tupac Shakur, right? Maybe they don't even live, but they come then, they perform, they can even have an real-time unscripted interview with the real people around them. And of course, it brings a very nice level of scalability to its users, which helps to decrease operational costs. So this is a series of examples from a culture and lifestyle TV channel. And I think they're producing like dozens of different shows in the same green studio, and they are at one moment they were producing 4 different live shows in the same day in the same green studio. But even maybe more interesting thing about this client is they managed to produce completely different 3 look and feel shows with the same desk. So on the top left corner, it is a literature program with different hosts and different background, and only the desk is real. And on the top right, it is a movie program, and bottom right, it is an history program, and they have like dozens of different concepts, like the bottom left one. And of course, we are able to utilize physical decor with a green backdrop, or LED wall with green, or just LED wall, of course. But in this example, this is more than 4 years old. It has been executed by a solution partner from Netherlands in EP Group. And this is a reality TV show. It means I Bet I Can. And as you can see with this simple green background, they're able to extend the image that they're having in real time drastically. And this is another example. This is from Japan. This is a more cinematic, let me say, example. And they are very successful with the flooring there. And it is all captured in real time without any post-processing. And of course, the technology enables the end users with remote production capabilities. So this is an example from Finland. And this is an hockey program. And the hockey player is fresh out of a hockey match. And he is still in the stadium. And as you can see, he is still in the stadium in the locker room. And he is in front of a very simple green background, and lighted by 2 humble pieces of lighting, and he's being shot by the corner camera of the game. So it's a very simple, very robust setup in Tampere, it's a city in Finland, and he is being teleported or beamed, if you will, to the studio in Helsinki, which is the capital city of Finland. And if I'm not mistaken, they have utilized the fiber network between those 2 locations, and they are having a real-time unscripted interview about the game that he just left minutes ago. So the host is asking questions like, how was the game? He's like, yeah, second half was tough. So, and also thanks to the stable and reliable fiber network, I will say, there is negligible delay. So they are having this seamless real-time unscripted interview. So it could be a sports show like this. It could be, again, I will go back to the Tupac Shakur example. It could be Tupac Shakur, maybe it's just virtual character controlled by mocap, right? Or it could be an C-level executive of a company. Maybe they don't have time to travel to another city or state. Maybe they're just in their living room in front of this simple green backdrop with just this simple lighting and just a static fixed camera. So I want to say, again, without getting into too much details, I would like to show some references which shows off or exhibits some unique features of reality software. So for example, this is an example from the Weather Channel. And of course, it is a green studio. And Weather Channel defines their project as 24/7 virtual weather presentation. So it is a 24/7 live production in green studio. But in this example, he is standing on the surface of this shiny virtual LED wall. It's a green floor. Unfortunately, I don't have the green reference right now in this presentation, but it is a green floor. And as you can see, he is casting a very unique reflection on that circular shaped virtual LED wall. And if you try to, I believe, mimic this by hand, it would be a challenge. If you didn't have it at all, it would look like something missing. But with unique compositing techniques of reality, they're able to capture this automatically, natively, without any tricks or post-processing, just in real time. And the talent is able to walk around virtual objects. So this is an example from NAB 2019. So Fox Sports, NASCAR, they grant us with their set for demonstration purposes for this kind of shows. And as you can see, he is able to walk around that virtual object freely. And this is another example from the Weather Channel. So the client is also able to do multi-camera compositing in real time. And these are talents in front of different cameras in real time, and they don't have this giant green studio, right? So they have a smaller green studio, but the talents are composited in a way that they look like they're in this giant environment in real time. And again, remember, they could be also at different locations. So a few examples for the color correction side, again, without getting into too much details. But this is an example from Dreamwall. And I think the French-speaking attendees, they have a better idea about the program by just reading the bottom left corner. But please pay attention how warm he is and she is next to the campfire, right? So this is another example from Sequin AR, a solution partner from Connecticut, USA. And please pay attention how blue and cold they are on the virtual North Pole. So very warm here. So these people are just in green studios, but very warm here next to the campfire, and very cold and blue here. So the end user have all of these capabilities of post-production level control on color correction and compositing and keying. So this is another example from the Weather Channel. And they present weather utilizing these virtual tubes. Of course, this is a green studio again. And they have these miniature cities and suns and clouds above these tubes. And these suns and clouds, they represent the weather of that day. And for this case, for Milwaukee. But please pay attention how that virtual sun is glowing at her hand, right? So that is a virtual sun. She is a real person. And also pay attention how the other suns are not glowing like that one, because they don't have anything close by to glow on. Only that little one on the left-hand side glowing on the cloud. So they're able to capture this automatically and again natively without any post-processing in real time with reality. And also pay attention how her pink shoe is refracting through that transparent virtual cylinder. So these are the little things that differentiates a photorealistic real-time composited image and let me say a less realistic real-time image. So this is from Zero Density Research and Development Studio. There you go, it's a Turkish engineer for you. And please pay attention how he's reflecting on the car. But more interestingly, please pay attention how accurate translucent particles in front of talent video pixels, such as that snow pieces, right? And please pay attention how accurate the translucency is in front of talent video pixels here, like that virtual glass. And we are also able to combine physical camera movements with virtual camera movements, like this virtual fly out, so that we are able to capture shots which are basically impossible in real world in real time. So this is another example from Zero Density Research and Development Studio. This is just the physical studio, as you can see, but it is an AR piano. And please pay attention to the lens flare in front of the AR graphic, right? And how reflective it is. So please pay attention how we are able to see green on the surface of this piano, but there is no green in this shot, right? Green is somewhere else. So this is the green studio. So in this shot, there is not even green in this shot, but we are able to capture the green reflection as it was a complete physical object in this room. And this is another example from Dreamwall. This is one of my favorites, I will say. And this is what we call a hybrid studio. So we have a green studio section on the right-hand side. We have an LED wall behind the presenter, again, fed and run by a reality engine. And it is just a practical ceiling on the top section. And it is just the practical studio continuing on the left-hand side. And this is their real-time composited picture. So it is basically a set extension on the top section, or a ceiling extension, if you will. So it is simply a second layer of graphics, right? On top of the physical shot, but we are keying out the green studio on the right-hand side. So please pay attention to the blonde gentleman on the right-hand side. He's inside of the green studio, at least from this perspective, and we are keying him out. But also pay attention, we have also green on the LED wall, which is not creating any problems to the keyer. Because with Reality Keyer and Reality Engine, we are able to define which 3D space is going to be keyed and which 3D space that won't be keyed. And in this particular example, anywhere outside of Green Studio is not to be keyed. And in this example, it has such an utility, let me say, function, because they're showing green on the LED wall because they are discussing football in this show. And of course, everything is in coordination with camera tracking. So wherever we look at with our practical camera, those three parts, ceiling extension, LED wall, and the green part, they are like perfect continuation of each other. They're just one perfect unified picture wherever we look. And they are utilizing the Green Studio for, please pay attention to the slide camera movement. And so they are utilizing the Green Studio for those little skits. So he's standing up and walking into the Green Studio, and it becomes the locker room of the football team, for example, or it becomes the medical center of the team's facility. So a few things on the keyer side. The previous ones were mostly engine-oriented features and references. With Reality Keyer, it's a very special, it's a very unique keyer. If we want to describe it in one line, we will say it brings above average post-production level keying into real time. But long story short, we are able to capture every strain of the talent's hair. Of course, this is a Green Studio. This is from NAB 2019. Another screenshot. And if we have camera tracking in that particular camera, we are also able to utilize the lens data. So with, again, I won't get into too much technical details, but with Zero Density, we don't have a layer-based pipeline, I would say, but we project the talent into the virtual world in 3D space in an exact measurable coordinate. So there's an measurable distance between him and the virtual wall behind, let's say 5 virtual meters. And if the cameraman shifts the focus for 5 meters with his real life camera, we have the capability of shifting the focus for exactly 5 meters in real time in our composite picture. And this is a feature that can be bypassed, but it is available for the ones that seek this kind of, let me say, dynamism, which, because this brings a sense of space and the depth of field, basically more realism to the composite picture. And we are also able to capture actual contact shadows of the talent in real world. Please pay attention to the soft shadows below his hand and his legs in Green Studio. So this is his real-time composited picture. So as you would guess, or as you already know, these soft shadows, these contact shadows, they matter because they give the sense that the talent is actually stepping on the ground. Not like floating around, but actually contacting the virtual ground. And the key is also able to handle transparent objects like a glass of water, a bottle of water, or maybe an glassy desk or an acrylic desk, which gives more creative and operational flexibility and less restrictions. So I also include the green background because sometimes the listeners and audience ask, is this actually green? Yes, this is actually green, and again, without any post-processing, captured in real time. And this is another example from Germany. Name of the client is Bundeswehr. It translates to United Armed Forces of Germany. And with some fine tuning on the key, they are able to key out soldiers with green camouflage. So they are utilizing in Green Studio, they are utilizing the technology for training purposes, for communication purposes. So naturally, they're having soldiers with green camouflage in Green Studio, and with some fine tuning on the key, they're able to handle this challenge, let me say. So it concludes my presentation, and I conclude with an AR reference from 2017, 4 years ago. It was League of Legends opening ceremony of Riot Games, where the Elder Dragon, which is an in-game character of League of Legends, before the tournament finals begin, it flew into the stadium and it roared and flew back, which of course engages with the viewers at a completely different level. Of course, the people in the stadium are not able to see the actual dragon, but they're able to watch it via the billboards. And the people in front of their screens, TVs or monitors at their home, they are able to capture the whole thing.
I love that example on your, again, I think we talked a lot about virtual production and showcasing the virtual studio side of it. But I think this is a great example of showing how virtual production can be taken outside also, and really kind of integrating the augmented reality element as well.
Definitely. Agreed.
We have so thank you for that presentation. I mean, I know we've been speaking a lot. I go on the Zero Density site, see what the partners are doing. Obviously, some amazing work, and obviously, your presentation has actually generated a few questions as well. So I'm going to jump in right now. The first one saying, how many cameras does your system support in real time?
Yeah, so there are no theoretical limits on that. We have one master control application that is managing the multi-engine and multi-camera system. So they can have as many cameras as they want. And the certified setup is For professionals, we recommend one engine per camera. So each new camera comes in with, of course, cost hardware, but there is no limit for that. They can have as many cameras as they wish, and they are working in perfect harmony and synchronization.
Wonderful. And actually, that's a great question and great lead to my next one is saying, at the end of the day, is there a difference between filming in real time or recording?
So from our perspective, it is not different. So the solution as is completely focusing on the real-time compositing pipeline. And if you want to look at from a signaling perspective, signaling point of view, we are basically taking the clean camera input with camera tracking data, and we are just providing the real-time composite data again as an output. And if it is going to on air or going to a switcher, going to a vision mixer, or going to a recorder, is simply outside of our box, I would say. There's no difference.
Wonderful. And so I think, Dominique, there's some of your question that you asked that's here as well. So again, I'm going to jump to the next question. Dominique, if that didn't necessarily answer your question, feel free to put in more details in the chat, and I'll jump to that shortly. But in the meantime, we have something from Jean-Pierre who says, do you have a de-spill tool you can modulate real time? So that's a technical question there. And obviously, would love to hear your thoughts.
De-spill tool, I may want to refer to my technical team with that question because definitely, I think I should take a note. And we should figure out a way to reach out to Jean-Pierre maybe afterwards. But I want to keep my right to answer after some consultation.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And the one question, actually, this is a personal question, and I know it's going to actually lead us really nice transition into our following discussion with NCAM, but is to understand, is zero density compatible with other camera tracking technologies?
Of course. So two things I think I forgot to mention. I have mentioned that Zero Density is a software company, research and development oriented technology company. Firstly, we don't provide any kind of creative or content services. So those references that the audience have seen belongs to the end user, usually executed by creative agencies and solution partners such as Dreamwall and New Web Labs. And for the camera tracking side, we are compatible with almost every major camera tracking brand in the market, of course, including NCAM. And we also support 3D protocol, which is becoming a more, let me say, common protocol in this area. So almost every major brand in the market is supported.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Again, Onur, I appreciate you taking the time. Hope everything is going well in Atlanta. We'll be speaking shortly. Again, if anybody has any other questions, feel free to reach out directly to myself, Frederick@newweblabs.com, and obviously more than happy to connect you with the relative people to get you the proper questions and answers to what you're looking for. So, Onur, thank you once again. Greatly appreciated.
I want to thank you for having me. It was a pleasure.
Awesome. And we'll talk soon, my friend.
Thank you. Thank you.